Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of the Rich Salad Show. My name is Brandon, aka Salad. Um, Wanted to make this show to kind of showcase our love for film and all the workings and machinations around the film industry itself. Like I said, my name is Salad. I'm going to bring in my buddy, and he can introduce himself. Hello,
Hello,
sir.
everyone. My name is Rich, and myself and Salad met back in college, and we hit it
Mhm.
off. He was the best man at my wedding, and yes, you were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you know, I think the biggest reason why we're doing this, for me at least, is I love hanging out with my bro. I love talking about stuff with him and talking about things that we love, and that's film and movies. And we've been through some film stuff together, um,
Absolutely.
and I'm so excited for this. Really looking forward to it.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, we actually well, you were in some of my films in college, right?
Yes.
I vividly remember that one day that was, like, below 0,
Oh my
and we
gosh.
were shooting, a wizard battle. It was the classic, like, almost like Harry versus Voldemort, um, wand, like, waving scene where you guys are just facing off. That was so much fun, but, of course, fond memories over a, tragic day of just blistering cold.
Blistering. I mean, I was convinced I was going to get frostbite.
It
So
was
as
close. Yeah,
the nanosecond we ended, I sprinted
right.
back to the dorm because I was like, "My hands are gonna fall off."
Right.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was really fun. Good times, but yeah, just like Rich said, we're here. We're glad to talk about films. So let's get into our first topic, which is this. So, Invincible season 4 teaser has dropped, and Invincible is one of those shows that kind of came out of nowhere. I think it was back in like 21 or 22. It kind of started as one of those shows that, especially in the first episode, where you're just kind of like, okay, this seems like another kind of superhero show with a lot of vulgar, a lot of gore, and it just seems like a solid show. But then, of course, like everyone, at the end of the very first episode, there is more than meets the eye. And ever since then, the show has had a special place in my heart. I know it's had a special place in Rich's heart, and a lot of people that have enjoyed this show. Has a lot of great characters with different backgrounds, characters with the different power sets that all work together and face off with one each other. It's just a great all around time with the Invincible show. Now, with Invincible season 4, the teaser dropped. I think it was about 2 weeks ago, and we were met with kind of the same setup that they kind of been doing for the more recent seasons, where they are announcing, the release date of the next season. And as they do so, Mark is usually sitting down in this setup with one character of the show, and he's just breaking the fourth wall and having fun with us as the viewer, just introducing what's coming next, and but in a way where it's not spoiler, which is nice. But it just gets us the fans excited, because with the Invincible show, we were, especially after the first season, the delay has been, or the delay was, just grueling for all of us.
Yes, absolutely.
As you can attest to this, Rich. I mean, it was just, um, no one really knew what was going on, and of course, we know, um, as film fans, animation takes a long time to make, but the reasoning with the distance between season 1 and season 2, just for how long it was, we just never got transparency from the creators, like what's really going on. Um, and eventually, since we got to season 3, then they started kind of ramping up things and giving us more info, and letting us know that the season was coming sooner, especially after season 2.
Mhm.
We got this same setup with Mark, and I think Mark was talking with Alan, the alien, who's a wonderful
Yeah.
character voiced by Seth Rogen. So this,
Yeah, I'm just I'm
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
jump in
yeah.
here.
Go jump in.
Yeah, so Invincible is a show that in the first season, I mean, like as you said, as you're watching that first episode, you're going, "Wow, this is like interesting. Got cool characters. Like this is cool. Like this seems like a different type of superhero show." And then that first, the pilot is unbelievable in terms of the ending and the twist at the end. I mean, it really is like, oh my gosh, this is going to be epic. And the thing that I love about the way the show has communicated to its fans is they are very understanding of their fans. And I think kind of like the first season was really a test. It's like, okay, is this going to work? And it did. And then they had, issues with the second season and within transparency. And now it feels like I can really trust the creators with timelines. I can trust them with um, just the show itself of putting out something that is entertaining. I mean, I think season three was the best season, which is like, you know, difficult to do. I would say,
Right.
once shows typically sometimes like the first season's like the best season. It's hard to replicate it, despite having bigger budgets or things like that. But with the teaser, it break the breaking of the fourth wall is like it's fan service, which I think is not bad. Like I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. I thought it was hilarious that Mark is pointing out that the fans say that he doesn't win fights. Like that's hilarious. That's
Absolutely.
so funny. And I think not a lot of other shows are going to do that. If you pay attention to the Invincible like social media feed, they do a lot of stuff for the fans. It's what are the fans talking about? What memes are the fans making? And I mean the Invincible memes never stop. I mean they are just constant.
Yeah, you know a
And
thing or two about memes.
like it is constant memes and they're very good um at having a pulse on what the fans are saying.
Absolutely. So you thought season 3 was the best so far?
I did. I thought
Okay.
it was the best.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanna say, especially the conquest stuff, um, finally giving especially the moment between Conquest and Invincible when Conquest seems like he's beaten and, he whispers in his ear, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was, like, along the lines of, like, "I'm always sad," kinda thing, and, I think Invincible, like a lot of other shows, give to certain characters, and the real key to really making, like, a character have a lot of, I don't know, like, gusto to them or something special about them is when you can juxtapose, like, someone as brutal as Conquest, but still deep down, there's that, I guess, humanity in a sense with him that, um, that we can relate to, like, there's, like, people feel depressed I mean, people feel depression, people feel like they're not worthy, and in this moment, Conquest almost felt like he just wasn't worthy anymore, he's always sad, he's just, um, lots of humanity juxtaposed with the superhero isms is in my opinion what makes these superhero shows relatable, which is crazy because I mean, how can we relate to superheroes? It's not real. But when you bring in the humanity to that, it just makes it that much more worth it. Just like shows like The Boys and Gen V, um, lots of superhero shows and films. But when you can juxtapose those two, it's a special thing. But for me, season 3 was kind of a mixed bag in a way. Um, I think a lot of the Rex stuff I enjoyed. RIP to Rex. He was great. He was definitely a character that grew on you. Um, and I want to
Yeah.
say there were some moments throughout season 3 where I noticed the animation was kind of spotty. I remember one episode in particular when when Eve and Mark were just chatting, and it was just like some, I don't know, there's just something about it. Like our eye gets so used to a certain style, especially like in seasons 1 and 2. I think for the most part, it's decent animation, and I know a lot of people kind of look at Invincible like as a not high polished animated show, and that's fine. And I would agree. And there's definitely moments throughout the seasons that you get like a polished animation, and they've touched on that in this show. I think it was in season two when or might have been season three when Mark goes to that convention, and it almost looks like he's kind of talking to Robert Kirkman in
Yeah.
a sense, and that's exactly what that scene was about, which is really cool. So I mean, like you said, like the show is totally aware of what it's doing, and the creators are aware of what they're doing, and I think that's great. It gives us transparency, and but I think overall, I love the show to death. I love the characters. Can't wait for season 4. Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Same here. I think part of the reason why they've been successful is the connection that they have to their fans, and it comes out in the show, and it comes out in like the social media and stuff that they post.
Absolutely. All right. Now, with that down, let's move on to this.
Ooh.
We are going in to Apple TV's Pluribus. Now, this is from the creator of Breaking Bad, the infamous Gilg, Vince Gilligan. Now,
Gilg.
the Gilg. So, the thing about the Gilg is that what's very interesting is, well, with Breaking Bad, everyone can attest it is one of the best shows made in probably the past 20 years or more, or one of the best shows ever. I think many people will probably agree with that. Um, I myself, I need to give it a rewatch. It's been probably like a decade
Yes,
since I've
man.
seen it. Yeah,
Yes. I rewatched it after
yeah,
watching it a couple of years. It was a 2-year break.
right.
You have to,
I have to.
man.
It's like, especially with the way I look at film and TV differently now. It's like when I first saw it, I was like, what, like in high school or a little left? Yeah, probably around high school time. And yeah, it was a special thing back then. So I can't wait to see how I'd react to it now. And then coming off of the heels of Breaking Bad, he makes Better Call Saul, which I have not seen. David, have you seen
Oh,
it?
you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so
Okay.
the thing is I watched like the first maybe 3 episodes, and the tone was just kind of meh to me, and the pacing of the show felt really slow.
I
I
understand
was
that.
like, yeah, I was just like, I don't really know what I'm watching this for, and for me to get tied to a show is getting tied to characters, and I just never felt a connection to any character within like the first 3 or 4 episodes.
That's totally valid. I think it took me a little bit to get into it. I watched probably the first 3 seasons or midway through season 3. I was like, "Yeah, I don't know. It's a slow burn. It's a slower burn."
Right.
You know, like it's not as easily rewatchable, I think, as Breaking Bad is,
Okay.
for sure. But once you get to the end of season 3, season 4, 5, and 6, I mean, it knocks your socks off. It literally, your socks explode on
Okay.
your feet.
All right. Well,
Like your feet are charred because your socks exploded. Like
well, then it
it's
must be fantastic.
yeah.
So, coming out off the heels of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, we have Pluribus, which we've gotten teasers for the past, I want to say, since the summer of this year, and each teaser has kind of left us questioning more and more. And it seems like the show is in the vein of Breaking Bad. Now, of course, I haven't seen Better Call Saul, but when I think of Breaking Bad, I think of almost kind of a tense atmosphere with characters seem pretty jaded, and that's kind of what I got from our teasers for Pluribus. It's this woman who's somehow intertwined in this weird um, environment that's all centered around her. And I think in terms of like relating it to Breaking Bad, it's just like we're following this character, and we're just very interested to see what's going to happen with this character and how they handle whatever storyline that they go down. So yeah, what's very interesting with this first teaser is kind of like I said, it's very mysterious, and all of this seems centered around this one character. As a trailer itself, I thought it was solid. I think what a trailer should do, especially kind of the first trailer, is just give us a feeling of the tone, and the tone feels eerie. It feels questionable, and I think as whenever I'm viewing things, it's very important to feel question. It's like, oh well, I'm very curious what's going on, and um, that's kind of mostly what I felt in this trailer, as all these characters are centered around her and they're wanting her to be happy, and a lot of the marketing has this smiley face image, so clearly that's a big part of this story somewhat. So overall, as a trailer, I thought it was pretty solid, and it definitely got me interested. Rich, what do you think?
I'm excited for this. You know, the bullet it might have to be bitten to renew Apple TV with this, because it's probably going to drop. I'm probably going to see 1,000 different things on my feed about it, and I'm going to be like, bro, I got to buy this, and then I'll buy it. I'll be like, it was worth it.
I mean, the thing is, Apple TV. I don't think it's too much now. I remember at one point it was like $7, which is crazy to think that a streaming service was like $7. I want to say it's close to maybe like 12, or it might be even more. I don't know,
Yeah,
but it's definitely not the most expensive streamer right now.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. So I'm super excited for this. You know, the Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. I have built so much trust and goodwill within me for, Vince Gilligan's direction and in storytelling, in writing and cinematography. Like, it's built up so much trust that, like, with the budget, if he's given, the kind of budget that Apple TV can offer, how good can he make it? And looking from the trailer, it's gonna be really interesting because another popular TV show right now is on Apple TV is Severance, and very high quality set design there, and you get kind of it's a mystery sort of vibe. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and you're not quite sure what's going to what it's about, and the world that it's in. And Severance has done an amazing job with that. So Pluribus seems like it's just gonna like with shows like Severance and shows like Lost. Have you ever seen Lost?
yes, absolutely.
So you have to trust the writers because um, with a lot of the mystery style shows, it can get too weird. Lost was that for me. Near the end of Lost, it got really
We're good.
strange. With the
Hey,
end of
hey,
Lost, it got
hey,
too
this is our first recording, so we're gonna keep going. Let's go.
all right. So with the end of Lost, it got really strange. And it kind of ruined the show for me a little bit. And Severance hasn't ended yet, but it was it was just so climactic the last season and it's done such a good job of world building and characters and it's exciting to see. Like, I have trust that that's going to go to a good place. There's another show that is not as popular, not as talked about. It's called From.
Have
Have
I've
you
heard
have
about
you
that.
heard of From?
Yeah, yeah. Have not seen
Have
it,
you?
but I've heard lots of good
Okay.
things. Yeah.
So I watched all the 3 seasons. I think they're finishing up production for fourth season right now, and I'm a little worried with that one. It's it's a heavy mystery, lots of questions type show. Lots of weird stuff going on, and like I don't feel super confident that I'm not going to get burned. I don't feel confident that I'm not going to get burned. So, but knowing who the kind of product Vince Gilligan has put out, I have high expectations.
Absolutely.
And looking at it almost seems like it's set in New Mexico, like in one
Mhm.
of the shots in the trailer. Like, it looked like the cul-de-sac in in Breaking
Right,
Bad.
right.
So I'm like, okay, like, I'm gonna get behind this. Obviously, the main actress was in Better Call Saul, and she did a phenomenal job. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
excited.
didn't even realize that.
We might. What was that?
I didn't even realize that. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we might have just another absolute banger from the Guild.
Hopefully, yes. And I think That's definitely what's hyping this show up the most is the Gilg, but that could be its downfall if it's decent. Um, I
Mhm.
will say Apple TV is putting out bangers after banger. Like you said, Severance getting got a lot of award buzz. A show that I love, Shrinking with Jason Segel, Harrison Ford. Um, it's just a wonderful show about good people trying to do good things. Um, really just a fantastic show. Harrison Ford is it's some of the best acting he's done in a long time. Jason Segel's hilarious. Um, other shows, there was that show Hijack, which is I heard was really good with Idris Elba. There was Silo. I know a lot of people love that show. You said From, right? From is on
From
there.
is not Apple TV. From, I
It's
think,
not.
is actually it's with, like,
Is that on Netflix?
MG No, I got it on Prime, but it's with, like,
Oh, okay,
MGM
it's
Max.
okay.
But
It's one of
Silo's
those.
another one of those mystery shows.
Right.
Um, I haven't finished the first season. I don't know if the second season has come out yet, but,
Okay. But yeah, Apple TV has been putting out a lot of bangers. So there's for Pluribus, there's no question that this could be one of those easily.
and they put
Um,
out F1. Apple TV was F1, I believe.
they did, yes, they definitely did. It was produced by Apple. I wonder. I think there was part of it that was with Warner Brothers, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Um, but in terms of putting up the money for it, Apple's got that dough.
Dude, they have
Apple,
endless dough.
yeah,
Crazy.
absolutely. All right. With that down, we'll move on to our next topic. We are going to the film Good Fortune. Now, I was lucky enough to see it last night, and all I can say is going into this film. Um, First, you have Keanu Reeves, which who doesn't love Keanu? He's whenever you see him in a trailer, he always brings a smile to your face. He's just a great energy to have. Um, whether it's in John Wick, or whether if it's in other films that just seem with his presence in it, it's just there's just something about him. And you also have Aziz Ansari, and then you also have Seth Rogen. So you have three pretty notable actors in the world today that are in this film, and it looks very interesting. We're getting this idea that Keanu is an angel who saves people from texting and driving, which is a great gimmick in itself, and that kind of makes sense. I mean, um, just a very interesting category for an angel, but in today's age, that definitely makes sense. It's pretty neat and clever in that way. Um, all like I said, also stars Aziz Ansari, who wrote and directed this film all by himself. I'm sure he's probably had help with some other stuff, but this film is pretty much his brainchild. And then you have Seth Rogen, who's just killing it with the studio right now, which we forgot the studio was on Apple TV as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I was
That yeah,
that
that
won a ton of awards, didn't it?
it did. It did. It went hard. It was fantastic. I didn't finish it. I'm kind of weird with shows. Sometimes I'll get through like half of a show, and if I'm good, I can kind of pause and then I'll return later. I got through the first 5 episodes of the studio. It was amazing. I'll revisit later, and then we'll probably talk about it later. But back to Good Fortune. Um, but yeah, just almost this film um, kind of touches on almost like a Freaky Friday situation where they do kind of swap um, people in a sense, and um, Aziz plays this just lower class guy who's just not who's just super down on his luck, and he's just trying to make ends meet, and he gets bogged down by bad luck after like bad luck scenario after bad luck scenario, and then you also have Seth Rogen's character, who's the complete opposite of the spectrum, and he's the rich. And you have this dichotomy with those two, and Keanu ends up switching them, and you kind of see how they go about their lives. And I'd say overall, this film is just a really solid film. It gives you good laughs. Keanu plays um, a really interesting version of himself in a sense. Like I kind of almost got a sense like Keanu plays Keanu playing this angel. He's almost like he's just super he's super chill in his delivery. And like I said at the beginning, like anytime you see Keanu, he's always just fun to watch, and this film gives you that. It's interesting because this film almost kind of feels like he's in a sense a protagonist, because the film cuts back to him interacting with multiple people, and it just seems like it's focused on him in a sense, as he's the one who swapped their bodies, or not necessarily swapped their bodies, but swapped their places. So overall, I'd say this film was really solid. It delivers with good laughs. There's definitely some good tender moments, um, talking about just us as a society and how the hierarchy works with the rich and the poor and how all those machinations go. And there's definitely a relatable part of this story. Um, I feel like I can relate to Aziz, and I'm sure David you can in some sense, where we're just trying to make some money and we just want to live comfortably, and that's kind of all we want. Like we don't necessarily want to be rich. Like that'd be cool, but like
It's literally
from
me.
yeah. For me specifically, it's just all about being comfortable and making the money you want to make, and doing it with good people. That's kind of what it's all about. But now, would I recommend this film? Yeah, I think it's a good watch. It's fun. It delivers the laughs. Um, the way it's shot is kind of bare bones. Like it's not super interesting, but it kind of gives you just kind of that classic almost way it's shot. I wouldn't necessarily say like Hollywood editing, but just kind of like standard editing shot format. Nothing too crazy. But yeah, that's kind of all my takes on it. Rich, you got any takes on this film?
I don't have a ton. I mean, I haven't seen the movie. The premise sounds kind of interesting. There's a specific angel just to stop people from texting and driving. That sounds that sounds like an interesting movie. And with the cast that they have, it sounds like it's a great time. And this screenshot right here looks like it's pretty funny moment. I'm not sure exactly what it was,
It
but
is. It is quite funny. Yeah.
it's a
That's it's yeah, it's when
yeah,
so like whenever Keanu touches one of them, he usually like, activates his power, and Seth Rogen's character regains all of his memory back because in this moment they swap places, and I won't go too in detail, but yeah, it's a
yeah.
funny moment.
Yeah, not it sounds like a great movie even to watch at home, it's not like a one in the theaters that like you have to see, for the theater element. I mean, it's obviously great. It's so much better experience in the theater, but even if it's at home, you don't lose a lot in terms of so it sounds like my wife would actually like this movie.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, I think I think you bring up an excellent point is the theater experience in that sense. Like not every film that comes out in theaters necessarily like needs to be seen in theater. I'm the type of person that loves the theater experience, so I'm gonna see it if I can. But if you want to wait till this comes home on VOD, video on demand, on Fandango or whatever, definitely rent it then because yeah, it's definitely not a theatrical experience. There's a lot of films coming out, especially like something like Avatar. It's like that's an experience you need to see on the biggest screen
absolutely.
you can. Yeah, but again, this film not necessarily like that, but not in a bad way. Not all films are meant for the theater in a sense. But with that down, let's move on to this. So, Demon Slayer, the film, opened in theaters. Um, Now, I wouldn't consider myself necessarily an anime watcher. I know my buddy Rich here loves anime and always is trying to get me to watch Attack on Titan every single day, every hour of the day. He's just like
Kind
that.
of true.
Yeah. And now Demon Slayer is almost the next nag he is nagging me with. Um, this is a story that Rich knows very well, so I give it to you, buddy. What you got?
All right. Well, so to be fair, I I haven't rewatched Demon Slayer like a lot. I saw kind of the last arc, and then I didn't rewatch the arc before watching the movie, but I have seen all of it. I'm up to date. I haven't read any manga or anything, but just some quick numbers here about how well this movie did. $649 billion worldwide, $129 million US gross, 223 million in Japan gross. It's the highest grossing anime film globally of all time. It's the highest grossing Japanese film globally.
Wow.
It's the fifth highest grossing film of 2025 globally. I mean, all on a $20 million budget. Think about that. I mean, that's crazy to see, a 25x return. I mean, it's insane. And they have to just be licking their chops because they have two more of these, coming out soon. I don't know about soon, but they have two more lined up for this. It's supposed to be a trilogy of some sort. So, um, like unbelievable performance. And what's crazy, I have obviously thoughts about the movie is this movie does not you don't get backstory. You don't like if you've never seen Demon Slayer, you will have no idea what's going on. So like you don't have like any lore building at all. Like it's just boom, jumps into it and which is great. Like it's like that's how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to give like a lore backstory about how things work. It's just supposed to just boom, jump into it, and it did. And like all the people that watched it had also had to watch everything else. So it's not like, you know, there might be a theory going around that like, well, you don't want to make like a second movie or something that can't stand alone. This movie can't stand alone because you have to have like the rest of it for it to mean anything.
Right.
But even though you had to have the rest of it, it still did unbelievable in terms of numbers, which it really shouldn't be a surprise because the last Demon Slayer film in 2020, Mugen Train, did 512 million in 2020. Now I was actually the highest grossing film globally, but 2020 was an interesting time for movies
Very
to say
interesting.
the least. So, the fact that you had to watch all of it um, to mean anything is a testament to the fans. Like you said, I remember the night it came out. You said the fans really showed out. The fans really
Fans showed out. They
showed
were
out
there.
for the movie. I watched it a couple weeks later, but it's a long movie. It's over 2.5 hours long. It's a long movie.
That is long.
Um, what the fans of Demon Slayer love the action, the fighting, the art style. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous film. Beautiful fights, lots of nonstop action. The audio, the sound design is beautiful. Seeing it on the big screen and hearing it and feeling it was amazing. I remember being amazed at watching, Mugen Train with these very headphones about the audio design, and these aren't crazy like $900 headphones, you know, and seeing it in the theater and feeling the intensity and what the creators were going for with the sound design, just unbelievable. And something that Demon Slayer does incredibly well, which a lot of animation doesn't do this well, is they have CG with their animation and that CG is elevating their scenes.
Mhm.
Whereas some CG with like anime animation or 2D style animation, it's just like, what is this? Like this is so cheesy and corny. It doesn't look or feel like the show. But Demon Slayer has, I feel like they've kind of been testing with CG in the shows and getting feedback and making it look really good. So it looks amazing and it definitely fits the vibe that the movie is going for. There is a lot of action, but they kind of layer it with they break it up with flashbacks and they have these different flashbacks that happen and it's a nice break. It's not like they spend a lot of time in some of them, but it never feels like you're taking away from the story too much. And it's overall just done well. Again, the visuals phenomenal. Now, some people have like a big problem with the story and the plot, And I'm not going to delve too much into it because my brother has not seen it at all. Some people might say it's not deep, and I can understand
Hmm.
why people are saying that, but it's it's very basic, not necessarily for a basic audience, because I wouldn't call myself a basic audience,
Right.
but it's not like a Minecraft movie, like the Minecraft movie is was just a meme, and like it was that.
Yeah. Made a lot of money.
It did. It made a
Lot
lot of money. It
lot of money
made
for a meme, so hell yeah.
you know, chicken jockey.
This is so fun.
So the despite the story, despite everyone knowing what's going to happen, and kind of everyone does, it is so satisfying to see.
Mm.
Like even like I'm watching and I know, okay, I know where this is going. It ends exactly how I thought it was going to, and I'm like, it was awesome. Like this is awesome. This is epic. And um I don't really I don't have an issue with it. So I do have an issue. I watched the
Oh.
dub.
Mm.
I watched the dub. And I'm going to talk a little bit about kind of the dub. The dub, I wish I did not watch the dub because
Hmm.
sometimes the dub is can be difficult because you know when they're recording, they're trying to match the mouth flaps of the characters. And it's not a one-to-one translation because a one-to-one translation, you have the words on the screen, you can just read it. But with a dub, you're trying to match the mouth flap, so you might say a different word, and sometimes the intent is lost. The culture is different. It's made from a different culture in Japan. So if you're not if you're not really listening to the language and translating just the language via the words, the culture could be lost in some of the intensity. And I think just the voice actor performances, personally, I didn't like them, as much as other performances, other anime dubs, like a good anime dub, Death Note, Attack on Titan. Those anime dubs are phenomenal, and they capture very vividly, and the dialogue is still great despite the language barrier. It's sometimes it's not that one-to-one translation, and honestly, like I probably will watch it again with the sub, because you have the original language, the original voice actors with their intent, behind it. And I think this movie is going to change the industry. It's going to have a
Big
tremendous
words.
impact. What was that?
Big words.
Big words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Changing the industry.
Well, because I think now, like, anime's mainstream now. It used to be
I
a
agree.
niche thing. Now it's mainstream. When the Attack on Titan finale dropped in the US, it crashed the servers. It crashed the servers. And now, like, modern culture is talking about it. Tom Brady was wearing a One Piece shirt in an interview on Fox.
Was he really?
Yes, he
That's really
was.
cool.
So, of all the steps to wear a One Piece shirt on a platform like that, like, you have to go through a ton of steps to do that, actually. Like, it's not an easy thing to do. You know, apparently Netflix is gonna remake One Piece. Apparently Netflix has a lot of anime on their platform, already. And the success of Mugen Train, which was the Demon Slayer movie in 2020, did so well. This one is doing so well. It's mainstream, and I think Hollywood needs to take notice and start to start to produce some American anime.
Right.
Um, I think to because they're gonna lose in terms of competition. We were talking about earlier. Some movies are made for theaters and some, like, you don't have to necessarily see. I think that's what viewers should demand. Viewers are demanding, like, if Hollywood's not producing good content, like, we gotta say it. We gotta say, okay, this movie, like, the viewers are gonna determine what movies get into theaters, and we want good movies. We want good movies for the theaters. Um,
Absolutely.
so I think it's gonna change the industry. we had a JJK movie, a Jujutsu Kaisen. It's another anime
Mhm.
that I recommend you watch.
Oh, I know. You told me about that one too.
We had a JJK movie come out, I think it was in 2020 or 2021, that also had an $8 million budget and made $179 million globally. These are low budget films that just that don't need a lot to like make it, and they already have the backing of a show that has millions of fans already. So it's
Right.
almost like a win-win. And I'm hoping for another JJK movie after this next season that comes out with everything that's going to happen. Tom Brady was wearing the One Piece shirt. If that doesn't say anything about anime being more mainstream, like who is it? Like Tom Brady reaches an audience of people who probably have no idea what the heck anime is.
They have no clue. What
But
the
there's
hell is what the hell is One Piece?
but I think there's a lot of NFL players, because think about it. NFL players going into the NFL now are younger than us. We're 27. So,
It's still
but
crazy to me. Yeah.
I know, like they're 22. So like, they've probably grown up watching anime because it's gotten more mainstream. Joe Flacco, do you know who Joe Flacco is?
Yeah. Mhm.
So he said on a podcast, I just saw it today, he said he watches One Piece, and he has his kids watch One Piece.
Wow.
Crazy. Did you hear about the IRL, in real life, Hunter exam?
No, is that based on Hunter x Hunter?
Yes, it's based on Hunter x Hunter. There's an arc in the show called the Hunter exam,
Mm.
where
That's
people
that
do.
sounds fun. It almost kind of reminds me of My Heroes, like hero exam or whatever.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that'd be cool.
testing arc.
Yeah,
So,
that
but there was a
sounds good.
ton of fans that made a Hunter, like an IRL Hunter exam, which like you had to be actually ridiculously fit to get through it. It was so difficult, but they live streamed it. It was a huge event with a lot of videos going viral about the event. Um, and like Hunter x Hunter hasn't actually had new anime content for like 13 years.
Wow.
It ended a while ago. I mean, actually new manga content's coming out. So the anime actually I think is coming back. But like even that, anime is becoming more mainstream. And I think Hollywood tried to do the live action anime. And I don't think it's worked super well because one, they didn't pick a good anime to do. And two, anime is very emotive. Um, and like it has a style, it has a feel. And honestly, I sometimes can't watch certain anime. I can't watch most anime personally. Like I watch anime, but I can't watch most because I can't. Sometimes it's too much. It's Demon Slayer is pretty close personally in terms of its anime-ness of um someone's face will change and it'll be like a weird sound effect or whatever. Like it's a little too much in a lot of anime,
Mhm.
and it's very emotive, which is hard to adapt to live action because in live action you don't want to overact. Like like overacting is bad. Like it looks awful,
Right.
and the best actors don't overact. They act like a real person who doesn't have these crazy like emotional
Expressions. Yes.
expressions and whatnot. So it's difficult to communicate that to live action. I think Attack on Titan would work, but that's a different conversation for another day.
Mhm.
So I wonder if like Hollywood's going to take notice and start to produce their own American anime in um, their own way. I think the
Right.
movie, again, it's going to change the industry. It was a good movie. It's definitely, if you've seen Demon Slayer, watch it. It's really good. Obviously, if you haven't seen it, I don't recommend watching it.
Okay. All right. That was a great take. I think like I put in the title here, what can we learn? And I think um, David, aka Rich, expounded on a lot of excellent points with that, with the theaters and how much money it can gross, and especially right now in a just awful theater industry kind of economy for in terms of all the money for the theaters. It's not healthy at all right now, and especially coming after the pandemic that has a huge factor on all of that. And
So
a
you mean
film,
theaters aren't making money?
well, theaters aren't making as they're definitely not making good money, that's for sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. There's in terms of um like there's been a lot of good films this year and last year that just haven't made money or haven't made good money. That's what kind of it's really an unfortunate thing. Like there was the film what was it called? It was one that came out last year with Ryan Gosling, um, the Fall Guy, and it's just a great all around film that's super fun, super funny, some good solid emotion, some great character chemistry, and it just didn't perform well. And we're kind of in an industry where lots of people don't think Hollywood makes original film. They think everything's a sequel and or everything's a part of a franchise, and that's definitely not the case. I mean, there's so many one-off films that came out this year that's really good, but that a lot of people haven't seen. Now, I say Weapons is an exception. Like me and you, we saw Weapons, and it's a special film. And luckily, that film got the notoriety. Everyone's talking about it, and it's getting all the reaction video treatment on YouTube, all that stuff, and it's great. But there's definitely films out there that don't get that kind of love. And if more films got that kind of love, the industry would definitely recoup and it would just make it just a much more fruitful industry for the theaters. And I think Demon Slayer is a great example of that. It's just bringing more people to the theater, like I told you before, um, like you alluded earlier, when I actually went to go see The Long Walk, which I recommended to you. I love that film, one of my favorite films of the year, absolutely. Um, and when I saw that film, that was when Demon Slayer was playing at the same time. And once I got to the theater, like it was the most packed thing I've ever seen it. I was like, this is insane. I wish it was like this every Friday because then the theaters would be booming. Like, do you know how amazing that could be? Unfortunately, we're not in a space that's like that, but hopefully, Demon Slayer can spearhead that where more films, not only anime, but just films that just bring excitement to the theaters, can bring more people and just make the theater industry boom and just make our whole industry that we love, the industry of filmmaking, all that, just better. Um, yeah, that's all on that topic. With that, let's move on to this Logic. Logic, the rapper Logic, one of my favorite artists um, that I've got the pleasure to listen to. Um, he's been around for a minute, just doing his thing in the rap game. And recently, I want to say last year, maybe probably the year before, but he's been working on this film called Paradise Records, and it's clearly a shift for him because he's done music for so long, but now he's moving on to film, and he's made it clear he has his own YouTube channel, so he's been posting countless videos almost every day talking about his transition, and he's always
Wow,
been a
that's
fan of
cool.
yeah, right? He's always been a fan of film, and like he's kind of basically said like, well, I've done everything I could in the rap game. I mean, he's made all the money. He's had a lot of success, and his next mission is film, and I think that's awesome, and especially the way he talks about it, he really appreciates it, and he has a lot of inspiration from films from Kevin Smith, which I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. He's Kevin Smith is definitely noticed for making those films that are more kind of close and like relatable in a sense to just kind of normal people, and especially with Clerks, which is a film about just clerks in a convenience store and just the happenings around that. And Paradise Records takes a big inspiration from that, and definitely has connections to the Kevin Smith isms, which is funny because Kevin Smith is actually the editor on this film Paradise Records, so he's working with
Interesting.
him. Yeah, so he's working with him in that. So he has a great consultant, not only for being his editor, but just as a filmmaker, Logic can go to him. Um, but in terms of the independent film space, uh, with Logic's recent videos that he's posted, he's just essentially just talking, like, especially in this shot right here. He's selling his Blu-rays, and he's making great money off of it from what he says, and he's basically said that he's really kind of shattered expectations for the independent film space because
Side effects may include lots of penis. Bro,
he's
this is
wild.
amazing. I love
He
this.
he's a wild one, yeah. He's been doing these ads, like, for the past, like, week, like, on his, YouTube Shorts. I'm sure probably on Instagram Reels and TikTok, he's probably throwing them there, but it's always been, like, short form, like, 80s retro style commercials, and it's great. I mean, it's definitely catches the eye, it's so funny. But in terms of the independent film space, he's really shattered expectations, because he recently said in one of his clips that he's not going through a distributor. He's not going to have someone else take his movie and do with it what they want because he's going to make no money on it, and it's just not a great like investment for him to do that. So he's like, I'm just going to do it by myself. He surely has the money to do so, so that's huge. Um, so he distributed all by himself and he's selling these Blu-rays by himself. It's all him. And like I said, apparently he's making a lot of money off this. He's really um, just shattering those expectations on what people can do in the independent film space, which I think is just wonderful to see. And especially to someone like Logic, I think he's just a great guy. He loves just spreading his creativity, and for him to do that in this space is just awesome to see. Um, and I think with him kind of showcasing this way for like independent filmmakers, it's really inspiring. Like I know me and David, we we want to make movies. We definitely want to be a part of that industry somehow. And for him, for Logic to do something like this to really showcase what people can do with that is special. Now, I will say the caveat to this is Logic is Logic. Like he has money, he has notoriety, he has fame. We have none of that. Yeah, yet. That's it. So I kind of take this story with a grain of salt, but just me as a fan of Logic, has been a fan of his music for years. It's just awesome to see because clearly he has a dream and he's living that dream right now. Even though like he had his dream of rap, now he has a dream of film, and he's going down that dream of film. He says studios are calling him, wanting to make his movies right now, and that's awesome because I love this guy. I can't wait to see, I can't wait to see this film. I pre-ordered the Blu-ray. I think
Let's
it'll come
go.
probably yeah, it'll probably come sometime I think early next year because his film I think premiered at Tribeca. It got from what I hear, good, pretty solid reviews, and it's I don't think it's been announced for VOD anytime soon, but definitely sometime soon because he's got his Blu-ray up for pre-order. So that yeah, all in all, just super happy for him. Um, David, do you have any takes on this?
I mean, my take is sorry, there's a fly. Artists are going to make art. The medium of art is really universal. There's technical skills associated with the different mediums, film, rap, painting. There's technical differences, but the medium, the art, creating art and creativity is still the same. That's why we see like actors and filmmakers also make music, also do different things in the art realm because it's art and the creativity is still there. I know I'm forgetting his name, the the guy who directed Spy Kids was talking about how when he was on set, he would have the artists actually paint a picture of themselves.
Okay,
He would have actors, sorry, paint a picture of their character in the movie, and he was
interesting.
astonished with like they not he had like Bruce Willis do this, and it's
Imagine that.
not
That'd
like
be really fun.
Right, but he doesn't. I mean, Bruce Willis is not like a. I don't. To my knowledge, I could be wrong. He's not like he's not like a painter, but he was literally astonished with what Bruce Willis painted for this, because like the creativity is almost like activated, like it activates.
Right.
And so, as Logic, who's someone who is so engrossed with audio art and music, it was only natural for him to move to the different form, which combines music with the visual in film. And if he makes great music for his films, I mean, music is such a huge part of film. So, I mean, this is going to be this is exciting to see.
Absolutely. Yeah. Cannot wait to see this and give our thoughts. Um, that is Logic and his film Paradise Records. Can't wait for that. With that down, let's move on to a good old show, Stranger Tings. Stranger Tings. That is now the show in itself. It is truly one of those special times. It almost kind of feels cozy in a way, but also really horrific in others. Um, there's just a great vibe with this show, with the aesthetic of the 80s and everything that happens in that time, and everything with the upside down. There's so many aspects about this show that is fun, that is relatable in a sense, with these kids from in high school and um, all their chemistry with each other. It's just a great time. Now, the big thing for this story is the fact that the season finale is coming to theaters. And as someone who just adores the theater experience, that is David is excited. Yes. Um, it is very exciting because for one case, Netflix isn't fond of dropping stuff in theaters because they are a streamer first and they'd love to be just streaming, but they can't recognize when films work in theaters because every time they've dropped their exclusive films in theaters, they've made money, extra money. They don't want free money, so they got to just put it in theaters. I don't know why they don't understand this. It is stupid. So it seems like with this and other film, because they are slowly dropping stuff in theaters, but of course it's only for a short window. It's for like 2 weeks. Not for Stranger Things, but for other films that they've previously dropped. It's been like a short window. Um, now I for Stranger Things for this season finale to drop in theaters, it is a special thing. So like I said, they are recognizing kind of what's going on, and this will definitely give them free money. I mean, come on, this is that, and it's just a no brainer. I know I will be there day one. David, what are your thoughts on this story?
Well, I mean, yes, 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 yes.
See,
This is what I think fans are wanting, especially from big popular shows like Stranger Things that transformed Netflix, or something like Squid Game. We don't talk about that right now, but something
I
that,
like Squid Game.
right, like people want to see the shows in the theaters. I think people do. There's a swinging back right now to the theaters that I think is because people are kind of they're getting frustrated with the streaming services, because it used to be Netflix was like $10 a month. You could share your account. Netflix was it. And then Disney came in and we're like, okay, we're going to make Disney Plus. It's going to be $8 a month. We're going to compete with Netflix.
It's a
Now
nice
Disney Plus
$8.
has jacked up their prices. HBO Max, like everything's on streaming now. Amazon Prime, now Apple TV. And people are kind of tired of it. I think people are sick of it. And they're sick of it, and there's a huge swing back right now to the theaters, and people are demanding good movies for the theaters. I think that's fair, and they should. And but shows that are bangers that everyone loves, like, because there's a swing back, put them in the theater, man. Like, put them in. When Netflix dropped K-pop Demon Hunters, it topped the box office for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday.
And
It's
they're
hot.
putting it back in theaters.
They are?
They are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I
More
remember
money.
this the CEO of Netflix was like, "No one wanting to go to the theaters anymore." Okay, but we're sick and tired of paying $1 billion a month for all these
That's what it
streaming
feels like.
services, including yours.
Right.
Okay? I like and we wanna like, theaters have to make money, right? The theater prices are high. Okay, so, like, we don't wanna get burned. So that's why we're demanding good movies. So, make sure you're putting out good stuff. But I love this. I am really pumped for this. Now, there was something that I was thinking about while you were talking that I want to touch on.
Mhm.
What theaters used to do before national releases is they would have regional releases. Like for a week or 2 weeks, the film was in Los Angeles because the physical movie had to be there. Like it was physical. It had to be there, and moving it to all these different places was logistically challenging.
Hmm.
And once national distribution came into effect, it was like so much easier to like distribute it nationally. I wonder what if you tested a regional movie release that would be a national release in a specific region for the sake of building hype. Like this movie is going to be in LA in California this week. But next week it's not going to be in California. You actually can't watch it in California next week. You have to watch it in Chicago. And it like to just for the sake of building hype because the people in the region are like they're going to like, oh, I have to see it. I wonder if that will build hype. Now you might not want to test it with like a mega $200 million blockbuster, but
Right.
maybe something like small, like a Demon Slayer, something that costs less than $10 million to make, even less than $1 million to make. You test it, and if your social media is such a big thing now, you're testing it in a specific region and posting on social media to try to build hype for it because maybe people are going to be talking about it more, planning for it more. I wonder if that would be successful.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, we definitely don't know until we see something like that for something regional. Um, I mean, I will say like for for something to be limited, like let's say like the Stranger Things finale was only airing in California one day, um, and you can only see it there, like at the I think it was like the Chinese cinema that's in Hollywood. Um, that would definitely garner a lot of hype, and I think hype is very important in a lot of things, and building hype, building that excitement. And I don't know. That's definitely a question I have to ponder more, but very very interesting. I think.
You're just like, that was a bad take. Just a
Huh?
bad take. You're just like, that was a bad take. We're just being nice.
Me?
Yeah.
No, no, no. I think initially I thought it was a bad take, but then the more I started to think about it, it's like, I mean, there's a chance. I mean, I kind of think some films do that in a sense. Like, I don't know what film I've seen recently, but there has been some films that only just air or just only are in specific theaters for a certain amount of time. Almost kind of like Netflix dropping, like let's say, I want to say they're dropping Knives Out, Wake Up Dead Man sometime next month, and it's only going to be for a certain amount of time. So in a sense, that could be related to the regional way where it's like it's only here for a certain amount of time, and it can garner hype. So I think something like that, an idea like that, could garner hype, which I think is important. But I don't know if it'd work. But
That's the thing. That's why it'd have to be a big test because the industry literally moved away from it.
Yeah. Right. All right. That is Stranger Things season finale coming to theaters. I think it's just for I think it's just the one day. I could be wrong. Hopefully
Mhm.
it's like throughout that weekend, but
Yeah,
I know
because
yeah, but I know it's only for a certain amount of time. It's not gonna be in there for that long. So, get the money while they can. Can't wait to see that. That is coming sooner than we think. With that, we have come to a close to our very first episode of the Rich Salad Show. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I think we're kind of getting some traction on how we want to approach this show going forward, and it seems like we got a good layout to work with. Trying to work with time. This is my first time working with StreamYard, so I'm very curious how I can be better at that because it was an interesting ride, but not too intense. Trying to navigate different things, but overall, I'm pretty satisfied with our work. David, what do you think? What do you think we're doing?
I thought it was great. I love talking to you and hanging out and talking about
Absolutely,
things that are super interesting to us. I'm really looking forward to it. Any feedback from the viewers, much appreciated if there are any
absolutely.
viewers. So
All we need is one.
all we need is one.
Come on, baby.
I'm excited to keep doing this.
Absolutely. Well, with that, guys, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.